Welcome to Durbania. I'm Rapthorn.
I'm Durbin.
And today we're doing our spoiler talk on Captain America Civil War!
Yes! Let me emphasize spoiler talk.
Spoilers.
We are going to spoil almost every plot point we can in this video. So if you haven't seen the movie, just hit stop. Go see the movie, come back, and then hit play, and let's have this conversation together.
Yeah.
Or if you really don't mind spoilers, I guess you could continue watching, but you have the fair warning.
Come on this ride with us, because it's gonna get awesome.
This movie was so good! I think this was the most fun I've had with a superhero movie in a very long time.
Most fun for me since Daredevil.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Which wasn't that long ago, but...
Wait, Daredevil the Netflix show or Daredevil the Ben Affleck movie?
I'm sorry, not Daredevil. Deadpool.
That makes more sense!
I don't know why.
Well, they both start with D. One of the things I loved about this movie, right off the bat, was the amazing setup for how they were going to get into all of this stuff. Because, was that Crossbones in the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought that was going to be like the main villain. I was kind of surprised he was not. They killed him right then and there. But the way they did it, he's trying to blow up Captain America with like a bomb right there.
Yeah.
And then Scarlet Witch puts that little force field around him and then throws him up in the air to just try to save Captain America, save the people on the street. But she kind of missed her aim just a tad and blew up the entire side of a building and killed and injured a lot of innocent people.
Oopsie.
The actress is Elizabeth Olsen, right? That's her name?
Mm-hmm.
She did a great job with that. I mean, that moment of shock on her face when that building went off. I mean, I actually hurt with her. I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I could sleep at night just over that one thing.
I know.
Let alone Sokovia.
And it really shows, like, she's still young. She's still trying to, like, form this ability. And she's still trying to learn the ability. And it... You know, just the anguish on her face and the she's really trying hard every time she does something.
Yeah.
Like, and this just totally, such a perfect setup.
It was. And one of the things it kind of did was it kind of legitimized Iron Man's side a little bit. That idea of that accountability because, I mean, come on. We all make mistakes at our jobs and work and whatever we do. We all make mistakes. That was kind of a big one. Yeah. So... that was really interesting to me. And then, of course, you go into where they're playing all the videos, and you see that in the trailer where they're like, Sokovia, New York, and they're going through everything. Wow. Now they're finally taking a superhero movie to address the idea of the supervillain, superhero fight that just destroys cities and things in its wake. Yeah. I actually thought it was so smart how they addressed it and the controversy that brought up. That was really cool.
It was really cool. Like, the way that they brought up all of the destruction and everything. However, one of the things that I really liked about the Iron Man side of things was when they said, I don't remember when it was, I think it was towards the end, and I think it was the bad guy who said that at the end of the day, the Avengers got to go home.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, all this destruction and mayhem that happens, they're helping by getting rid of these specific people. Or creatures.
Or bad guy. Whatever the bad guy is, they're helping by destroying that.
They are, but at the end of the day, they get to go home.
Yeah. And everybody else is left with that aftermath.
Yeah.
Which was really kind of... And then the other scene that got me was Iron Man in the hallway after that huge college presentation that he did.
Man.
What I liked about that scene was the lady showing Iron Man the picture of her son. And how that building or something crushed him. Because he's like doing mission work in Sokovia, just at the same time the Avengers got there, and he didn't survive it. And so it's like, they do legitimize this whole thing of, look, heroes can't just go do everything they want to do. So that, to me, was legitimate.
Yeah. No, and I agree with the whole kind of throttling things back a little bit. However, I don't agree with the Iron Man side of things by saying, let's lock it down, and we can only do what they say we can do.
Because I agreed with Captain America with what it's better in our hands. Because if it goes into the hands of this United Nations committee, then are we really going to get security? Is this really the safest hands to be putting it in? Because we're just putting this in the hands of other people that have agendas.
Right.
And I thought, I mean, ultimately I agreed with that. I was like, oh, yeah, no, you guys should be free. You shouldn't blow up cities, but you should be free.
Right.
Yeah. So I felt like both sides had legitimacy.
Legitimacy.
Thank you. I guess I'm with Captain America. I like freedom.
Hashtag Team Cap.
Hashtag Team Cap. I think Iron Man was actually a villain in this one.
I agree.
He was not the main villain.
No.
But he was a villain.
He was a very big part of the villainy of this movie. Take it into context. He gets this picture. He gets told this story about a kid that dies because of something that he did. It put everything into focus. Put everything into a literal sense of my actions have consequences.
Yeah.
So he's really trying to dial back and make sure that their actions, even though, sure, there are going to be some consequences, but their actions are governed. Their actions will make sure that the least amount of lives are lost, if not none at all.
Yeah. But General Ross wanted the extreme. That basically the Avengers would be the slaves and servants to this committee, which, of course, I mean, ultimately, obviously, General Ross is going to be the guy calling the shots on that. So we definitely don't want that because we already know he's a crooked dude, the way he's chasing down the Hulk in the other movie and all that stuff. So you already know this is a bad idea. But Iron Man just bought into this hook, line, and sinker. And I could get it, the insecurity of Ultron and the wrong choice he made there, the not trusting himself anymore and all that. I can understand what brought him to that.
Sure.
But he went to it hook, line, and sinker. And I said this in my spoiler-free, that Captain America wasn't just trying to not sign the Sokovia Accord. He actually had a deeper thing he was going for. This other villain was trying to find the other Winter Soldiers, because there was more than one. And Captain America believed what this guy was trying to do was activate all these other ones to bring down nations.
Yeah.
So Captain America's like, forget Sokovia Accord and forget this fight. Whatever I have to do to stop that, that's what I'm going to do. On top of the fact he wants to save Bucky.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a deeper, more awesome thing. But Iron Man was just this freaking blockade. Every time Captain America took a step, there was Iron Man to block it. And, you know, the other Iron Man movies, I thought his sarcasm, his wit, and all that stuff was great. But now when it's on the opposite side and it's stopping the ultimate good from happening, you're just like, oh my gosh, I see what the world sees. That guy is a jerk. I still like him, though.
Yeah, I mean, what's not to like?
He's Iron Man.
Yeah. So the big scene, the big fight scene.
Oh, yes.
Right? They're at the airport. 6-on-6, big fight scene.
It was so cool.
One of the things that I was kind of like, okay, is where was Vision? He wasn't doing anything. Like, you never saw any of his actions except for right at the end when they're leaving. Iron Man and War Machine are going after the plane.
Yeah.
And then Falcon's coming from behind. And Iron Man tells Vision to shoot down Falcon. Falcon realizes what's going on and dodges and hits War Machine. War Machine.
Right in the power source.
Yeah. So his suit loses everything. He goes into a dive. Obviously, he passes out because of the G's.
Yeah.
Hits the ground. He's paralyzed. You know, like, this whole thing happens.
Well, we see him walking at the end, but it's like these robotic things on his legs.
Yeah, Stark Industries, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Vision, you don't really get to see him throughout the fight.
I keep wanting to disagree with you, but now as you say that, I cannot remember any big Vision moments other than him taking down Rhodey.
Right.
Like, that's all I remember.
Giant Ant-Man.
You know what's so bad? Oh my God. He had the line. He's like, I got a big distraction that I could do. I've seen the Avengers, the Earth's Mightiest Heroes animated series and all that stuff. I should have caught on what was good. Right over my head. And so then when he became big, I just went,
It was awesome. And then my favorite was Iron Man says, okay, does anybody on my team have anything awesome that they're holding back? Because now would be a good time.
And then this led to one of the great Spider-Man moments where he's swinging around giant Ant-Man. And he's like, hey, do you guys remember that really old Star Wars Empire movie? Stark, how young is this kid? All right, I get it. He's on the young side.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, of course, they trip him and all that stuff. But it was just like, so I liked Spider-Man in this movie. And I thought his character was done so well and introduced so well into this that I was just like, Spider-Man! And to see him in that fight, and then he's fighting Winter Soldier and Falcon, and they're like, have you ever been in a fight before? There's usually not this much talking. It was just so great, to bring Spider-Man into this.
Honestly, this whole movie had great action.
Yes.
It had literally everything that I wanted to see
action, comedy, lightheartedness,
yeah.
just enough of the dark, serious tone that
Sure.
you were really in it when it was like that, but you
Yeah.
were really laughing when it was light.
Oh my goodness.
It was great. When we saw the prison come out of the ocean, I thought that was a supervillain prison, which it was. But Iron Man had put Captain America's side all in that prison, which just sealed what a jerk I think Iron Man is. Until Iron Man finally saw that Bucky was framed for all of this. Like, he finally found the evidence and saw Captain America was right. I annoyed my wife because I was like, in your face, you stupid jerk! Gosh, you just... Oh, you've been such a jerk! Oh!
Such a jerk.
But finally, when he shows up at the end to help out Captain America and Bucky, and he comes with the olive branch on the right side, tell us the big reveal.
The Winter Soldier, he gets called out to do a mission. There's something in the trunk of a car that
In
he
1991 is this mission.
1991.
1991.
You'll see it throughout the movie if you haven't already seen it. He shoots out a tire. The car careens off the road, hits a tree, catches on fire. He turns around. He's on a motorcycle. He turns around. He comes back. He parks the motorcycle. He lifts up the trunk, and you see him open up a briefcase, and it's got these glowing
Blue pouches
blue
of stuff.
pouches,
Yeah.
right? And then that's all you see in the first scene. And then later on, you kind of see it again, and it's like, okay, all right, so there's some significance here. So then at the end, they show up. They find out the guy, he went to get the other Winter Soldiers. Well, we find out he was actually going to kill the other Winter Soldiers because he hates people with power.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to...
Because of Sokovia, and he
Right.
lost his wife and his child.
And his dad.
And what I liked is this villain was not a strong villain. But
No.
that made him a strong villain for this movie. Because he knew he could do nothing about the Avengers.
Right.
So he decided to have the Avengers kill themselves.
Yeah.
And that's how this whole thing came.
So how he got them to do that was he starts showing on a screen, like it looks like security footage of what happened. And we find out that Bucky killed Iron Man's parents.
The acting in that moment, because that look on Robert Downey Jr.'s face as he's watching this video and it's dawning on him what happened.
Oh.
I was feeling the pain. I mean, that was real, true acting chops, okay? Sometimes when you're doing even a fun sci-fi superhero movie, you gotta have the chops. And Robert Downey Jr. in that moment, that expression on his face, I believed it and I hurt with him.
Yeah.
And then he literally lost it.
Lost it.
Completely the opposite of Superman yelling, Martha! And Batman being good all of a sudden.
Right.
This was the exact opposite and made more sense. And Iron Man was just, that's it. I'm going to kill him. And Steve, I'm going to kill you if you stand by in.
Yeah.
It made that fight totally, the vibe was totally different than what you got on the trailer. It was far more intense. Steve just beat the snot out of Tony Stark in an Iron Man suit. Then he takes his shield and he's doing this number, and you think he's going to decapitate Tony. Tony thinks he's about to be decapitated because his mask is broken off and everything. But no, he just brings the shield right down on the arc reactor, cutting it off. And it's just like, oh my... I mean, the fight was...
And this was right after Tony used his chest beam to blow off Bucky's arm.
I didn't know that was possible.
He's got his hand on his face and he's digging into this thing. And then all of a sudden he shoots off the beam. Here down. Gone. That
Yeah.
metal arm was nothing.
I think my favorite part in that fight, though, was when the fight was over. I know that sounds weird. But when the fight was over and Tony Stark was like,
yeah.
You don't deserve that shield. My dad made that shield. I'm making it sound crybaby-like, but when you're watching the movie, you're feeling his emotion and you're in it with him. And Captain America is just like, okay. Drops the shield and leaves. This is why, ultimately, in this Marvel Universe, I think Captain America is my favorite, just because of his heart.
And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Black Panther.
Oh, man. Great character.
Holy cow. I fully expected to see Black Panther just kind of be that side character that, okay, we're getting a little bit.
He was a driving force, and he was
Holy
amazing.
cow.
To me, this was a great T'Challa origin story within an already existing universe without adding extra weight to what they needed to do.
Oh, my.
And just the way the actor carried it, I mean, you were with him. And It's just cool. And then
So good.
there's 2 in credit scenes. So one in credit scene, the middle one, we get to see Wakanda because
Yeah.
you know, Captain Steve Rogers and all them go to Wakanda. They refreeze Bucky because Bucky wants to be refrozen and all that stuff. And so there he is. He's you know they're gonna make him a new Shield, right?
Oh yeah. When they're panning out and you see this huge Black Panther in the rocks. Yes. Oh, so cool.
It was awesome.
And then the final scene.
Spider-Man Homecoming set up.
Love it! This movie and Deadpool, I can't pick between best movie 2016.
Ooh.
They are neck and neck. I gave Deadpool 5 stars. Captain America Civil War, congratulations, 5 stars.
If you saw my spoiler free, you know what I've given this movie. 5 stars. For a grand total of 10 stars. This movie's fantastic. It's not going to be a waste of your money to check it out this weekend.
It's great. It's wonderful. Check it out if you haven't already. I can't say enough about it. Super amazing movie.
Yeah. Let us know who is your favorite Marvel superhero in this movie. Let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing.
I'm Rapthorn.
I'm Durbin.
Thanks for checking out Durbania.
I could do this all day.